And welcome to the introductory video on Advanced Placement English Literature and Composition, which is a mouthful, so I'm going to call it AP Lit from now on. So welcome to this video. My name is Sarah. I am just a finishing student of AP Lit, and I'm going to be giving you a basic overview of AP Lit, and I'm going to be telling you some reasons why you should take AP Lit. And then Fayla is going to be telling you about what kind of things we read in this class and give a basic overview of the AP Lit test, which we take in May. So this class, to start with as an overview, is taught by Mr. Neal. Basically what we do in this class is we read a lot and then we write essays a lot, and we analyze what we read and we pull out different meanings and pull out figurative language and tone and all of this kind of cool stuff from the reading, and then we put this into the essays, which we have a prompt, obviously. So we do a lot of different ways to enhance how we write and read. A lot of the time we do essay writing, discussions, timed writes. We read a lot of fiction. There's no nonfiction in this class. And we do in-class activities and quizzes. And obviously this is not, every day we do all of this stuff. It's spread out. So to kind of look at what kind of things we do in a day, though, I'm going to look over here. So we just finished reading about the American Dream, about, the Great Gatsby and some poetry. So we're just finishing our unit review on this day, and then we have a quiz over here. No, we don't. We have a discussion over here, sorry. And then we have a graded assignment. So that's just like one day. And then we just have these 4 folders. So for this week, we have 4 days worth of work to complete. And we have a timed write. So we usually have timed writes every weekend, at least once a week in class. And that's when you go into a Class Connect session and Mr. Neal puts like 40 minutes on the timer and he gives you a prompt. And for 40 minutes, you write on that prompt, which seems daunting, but it gets way easier as you go, throughout the class. The timed writes get way easier, and he gives awesome feedback so that you can improve on your timed writes. So why should you even take AP Lit? I know that some people might not want to take literature because that's not something they plan on studying in college, but as someone who is not even taking literature in college, I loved this class. I found it fascinating. It's definitely a way to open your mind and to enhance your writing and to enhance your thinking even. You become a better thinker when you read and you analyze and you find all these new methods for finding things in the writing that you never saw before. And you can definitely see like how your writing improves as you go through the class. So one reason you should take it is just to improve and expand your writing and reading. Even if you don't plan on going to college, you can just take it for fun, and really see your writing improve and see your reading improve. Another reason is that you can get potential college credit. So if that's something you're interested in, there is an AP test in May that most people take after this class. And if you do well on it, you get college credit, and most colleges accept AP credit, which is awesome. And lastly, you get to learn in an environment where other students all have similar goals. This year's class, we were all pretty close with each other, I think, because we were all just really trying to help each other so that we could succeed in this class and we could succeed on the test. So we would share, like essays with each other, and then we would put comments on the essays and say, I really like what you did here. And we even had these funny little Oscar things that Mr. Neal made, so like we could win Oscars for having the best nuanced reading or having the best opening or something, which is a really great way to show what we're doing right and then figure out what we're doing wrong in the essays, which is really cool. So yeah, that is the overview of AP Lit and why you should take it.
Alright, so now I'm going to talk about some different books that we read for AP Lit. So this is one of them. It's called The Story, and it's Writer by Anne Charters, or at least she put it together. It's a collection of different short stories that we read. We read from this book throughout the year, both first and second semester. There are different short stories in here, such as The Yellow Wallpaper and Bartle by the Scholar. There are a variety of different short stories, and we definitely read a lot of them. like The Yellow Wallpaper. I found that one personally very interesting. It's about a woman suffering from basically going insane from receiving the rest treatment, something that was given to women who were thought to be suffering from hysteria. So that's a very interesting one. So there's one of them. And then this one is the Norton Anthology of Poetry. This is another book that we read out of quite frequently throughout the year. It's a collection of poetry. There's a wide variety of poetry in here, and we read a lot of poetry out of here. It's sort of a poetry through the centuries kind of a thing. So there's a lot of older poetry, and then there's some newer stuff. We go through like modernist poetry, romantic poets, and things like that. So that's something to expect. And then we read various novels and plays as well. So first semester, generally, we read Hedda Gabler, which is a play about a woman who is suffering from sort of boredom, I guess. And so basically she goes through struggles in her life, and it kind of goes through her personal pathway through trying to gain her sort of social status and dealing with other characters. We also read Twelfth Night, which is a Shakespeare play. Again, it's sort of a like a social struggle, I suppose. And there's definitely crazy kind of love messy going on there. That's also an interesting one. Another play that we read is called A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. This is a story about a woman and her husband and the struggles they go with, as well as the experiences that they undergo when the woman's sister comes into the picture. That's also an interesting book. We read a novel by Zora Neale Hurston called Their Eyes Were Watching God. This is about a Black woman and her struggles through her life, and her several marriages, and the kind of men she encounters and the struggles she goes through as far as discrimination and finding her own path. And then the second semester, we definitely spend a lot more time on the poetry and the short stories, but we also read two novels. Jane Eyre is one of them, by Charlotte Bronte. This is a story about a woman, Jane Eyre. It starts out with her young childhood and moves through her adult life and illustrates her different struggles and the paths she takes throughout her life, including going to school, being a mistress, her discovery of love, and all of those things, and how she deals with that, and her connection to her faith, and how that also affects her life. And then the last thing we read is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is a very interesting little novel. Also sort of a reflection on social status. It takes place during the jazz age. People really are in search for the American dream, relying on materialistic views and other things like that, looking for happiness. Through this novel, Fitzgerald illustrates the realities of a materialistic view and how achieving the American dream does not necessarily lead to happiness. So those are the books that we read throughout the year. I hope that was helpful. As I'm sure you all know, the point of taking an AP class is to eventually take the AP test. So for AP Literature, we take a test at the end of the year. What you can expect from that is 55 multiple choice questions and 3 essay prompts. The 3 essays, there's a poetry prompt, there's a prose prompt, and there's an open question prompt. The poetry prompt, you're given a poem, you must write an essay about that. The prose prompt, there's usually a chunk of text, generally from a novel or a play, and then you write an essay in relation to that. Then there's the open question, where you actually get to pick the work of literature that you write about. For each essay, you have roughly 40 minutes to write it. And then for the 55 multiple choice questions, I believe you get 60 minutes to complete those. And then the multiple choice questions are mostly on poetry, lit devices, or chunks from different novels that you've read throughout the year. There sometimes will also be like a chunk of prose or poetry that you read and then answer those multiple choice questions. So I really hope that this video has been helpful to you and that you can kind of have an idea of what AP Literature is about and a better idea of whether it's a good class for you.